Scorpio, you've always felt what moves beneath the surface, even when the world stays quiet on the outside, even when nothing seems to be happening at all. There's a certain depth in you that listens differently, like you're tuned to something most people pass right through without noticing. And lately, something has been shifting. It's subtle, almost easy to overlook, like a ripple forming in still water before anyone else sees it. A glance that lingers a second longer, a conversation that feels strangely familiar, a presence that settles into your space without asking for attention. It doesn't arrive loudly, yet it stays with you, and you feel it, even if you haven't named it yet. You move through your days the same way, but there's an undercurrent now, something gently rearranging the rhythm of your world. It doesn't rush you, it doesn't demand anything, it simply appears and waits for you to notice. Because sometimes the moments that change everything don't look like turning points at all. They look ordinary. A person you almost overlook, a connection that feels simple on the surface but carries a weight you can't quite explain. And somewhere deep inside, there's a quiet recognition. Something in you softens, something in you leans closer, as if a part of you already understands what your mind is still catching up to. This is where it begins, not with noise, not with certainty, but with awareness. You may feel it in the way your attention keeps returning to someone, or how a single interaction seems to echo long after it ends. There's a kind of alignment unfolding here, one that doesn't push, it draws you in, slowly, intentionally, like it's been finding its way to you for a while now. And the more you listen inward, the clearer it becomes. This isn't random. There's a reason this energy is entering your life now, through a person who carries something more than what first meets the eye. A presence that doesn't try to prove itself, yet reveals something meaningful the closer you allow yourself to feel. If you feel this quiet shift already, take a moment and anchor it. I trust what I feel beneath the surface. Because what's beginning to unfold here isn't just about who is entering your life. It's about what this connection is here to awaken within you. There's a moment you may have overlooked, a conversation that felt ordinary at first, something simple, almost forgettable. You walked away from it the same way you walk away from most interactions, carrying on with your day, your thoughts already moving ahead. And yet, something stayed. It lingers in small ways, a sentence that replays in your mind without effort, a feeling that doesn't fully dissolve, a subtle pull that brings your attention back again and again, as if something in that moment is still unfolding beneath what you initially saw. You start to notice a pattern. It isn't the loud opportunities that leave the deepest mark. It isn't the dramatic turning points that shift your direction. Instead, it's these quiet encounters, the ones that arrive without announcement, without urgency, yet carry a strange kind of weight. In astrology, this is where something precise begins to move. When Mars, the force of intention and forward motion, aligns with Jupiter, the energy of expansion and timing, the result doesn't always appear as a sudden breakthrough. It often takes shape through a person, someone who steps into your path carrying something you didn't realize you were ready for. Not as an answer, but as a key. And keys rarely look like anything special at first glance. They come disguised as people who feel easy to talk to, or moments that seem casual on the surface. A shared idea, a passing suggestion, a connection that doesn't try to prove its importance, yet quietly holds it. You may even question it at first, wonder why it stays with you, why it feels significant in a way you can't fully explain. Because what's happening here isn't just external. It's an alignment between where you are and what you're ready to receive. Some encounters arrive to pass time, others arrive to shift direction. And the difference between them isn't always visible right away. It's felt, slowly, as layers reveal themselves over time. You begin to realize opportunity doesn't always knock loudly. It enters, sits beside you, speaks in a calm voice, and waits for you to recognize it. And the more you pay attention, the more you start to see that certain people carry a presence that goes beyond the moment itself, as if they're connected to something larger, something unfolding just out of sight. Which raises a quieter, more important question. How do you recognize the one who's meant to change something within you? At first, it feels almost too simple to matter. The conversation flows without effort, like you don't have to reach for the right words or shape yourself to fit the moment. There's a natural rhythm, an ease that settles in quietly, and you find yourself staying a little longer, listening a little deeper, without fully realizing why. You notice how your body responds before your mind does. There's a sense of calm, a subtle openness, like something in you recognizes the space this person holds. You don't feel the need to impress. You don't feel the need to guard every layer. It just flows. And in that flow, something unspoken begins to form. A connection that feels real without needing to declare itself. Then, time reveals another layer. This person seems to appear at moments that matter, not in dramatic ways, not with grand entrances, but with a kind of quiet precision. A message when your thoughts start to spiral, a presence when your energy dips, a few words that land exactly where they're needed, as if they arrived through perfect timing rather than chance. You start to see it more clearly now. They don't chase attention, they don't fill the space with noise, yet somehow they are there when something within you shifts. That kind of timing carries its own language, one that speaks through alignment rather than effort. And then comes the deepest sign. They see something in you, not the version you present to the world, not the surface-level strength you've learned to carry, but something underneath it all, a depth, a potential, a quiet intensity that you don't always put into words. And the way they reflect it back to you feels steady, consistent, almost grounding. It doesn't come as praise, it comes as recognition. They speak to parts of you that rarely feel seen, and when they do, something inside you softens. Not all at once, but enough to notice, enough to feel the shift. Because being truly seen carries a different kind of weight. It stays with you long after the moment passes. And slowly, without force, you begin to understand. The most meaningful connections don't need to announce themselves. They arrive with a quiet certainty, a sense of rightness that unfolds over time, layer by layer, moment by moment. You feel it more than you explain it, which leads you somewhere deeper now, not just toward recognizing them, but toward understanding what this connection is asking of you. You can feel it now, the connection, the timing, the quiet alignment that seems to place this person into your life with precision. And for a moment, it's easy to focus on them, to wonder who they are, what they bring, why they feel so different. But something begins to shift when your attention turns inward, because the deeper question isn't just about who is showing up, it's about how you receive them. There's a part of you that instinctively measures distance. It watches, it senses, it keeps things contained. You've learned how to hold your depth close, how to move through life with awareness, with control, with a kind of emotional precision that protects what matters most. And that has shaped you in powerful ways. But in moments like this, when something real begins to unfold, that same instinct can become a quiet barrier. Not obvious, not loud, just enough to keep a space between you and what's trying to reach you. You might notice it in small reactions, the pause before you fully open up, the way you redirect when something feels too personal, the subtle shift when someone gets close enough to see beyond the surface. It happens quickly, almost automatically, like a reflex built over time. And yet, beneath that, there's something softer, a part of you that recognizes the connection, that feels the steadiness in this person's presence, that senses the possibility of being supported, seen, understood on a deeper level. It doesn't push forward, it simply waits for you to meet it there. This is where the real movement begins, not outside, not in the connection itself, but within you, in the space where control begins to loosen just slightly, where awareness turns into choice, where you allow yourself to experience what's already here instead of holding it at a distance. If this speaks to something inside you, acknowledge it. I allow support to reach me. Because opening doesn't happen all at once. It unfolds in layers, in moments where you choose presence over protection, where you let someone step a little closer into your world. And as that space expands, something else becomes clear. This connection isn't just entering your life by chance, it's responding to something within you that's ready to evolve. It starts with something subtle, not in what you do, but in what you carry. The way you enter a space without needing to announce yourself, the way your presence holds a certain depth, like there are layers beneath every word you speak, every glance you give. People feel that, even when nothing is said out loud, especially then. You may have thought you were searching for the right opportunity, the right moment, the right person who somehow aligns with where you are in your life. But if you look closer, there's another movement happening at the same time. Something flowing outward from you, steady and consistent. A signal, not one you consciously send, but one that exists in your energy, your focus, your emotional depth, your willingness to grow, to transform, to understand what lies beneath the surface of things. That kind of energy doesn't stay contained. It reaches, it calls, it resonates, and certain people feel it. They may not be able to explain why they feel drawn toward you, why conversations with you seem to carry more weight, why your presence stays with them longer than expected. But they respond to it anyway, because something in them recognizes what you hold. This is where attraction shifts into something deeper. It's no longer about coincidence or timing alone. It becomes resonance. The kind that forms when two inner worlds begin to align, not perfectly, but meaningfully. They sense your depth, and in that sensing, they step closer, not out of curiosity, but out of recognition. You begin to see it from a different angle now. This connection didn't just appear randomly in your life. It answered something. It met you at a frequency you've been cultivating over time, through every experience that shaped you, every moment that asked you to go deeper rather than move on. And there's a quiet strength in realizing that, because it means you aren't simply waiting for something to happen. You are part of what creates it. Your presence, your awareness, your emotional truth. All of it forms a kind of gravity that draws in what matches it. When you stand in that truth, fully, honestly, something shifts. You stop looking outward for confirmation and instead begin to notice what naturally comes toward you. The people who feel aligned, the moments that carry meaning, the connections that reflect something real back to you. And from here, another layer begins to unfold, one that asks you to look even deeper into what within you shapes these patterns, and how that same depth can either open doors or quietly close them without a sound. You felt this pattern before, even if you never named it out loud. A moment where something real begins to form, where a connection starts to deepen, where the energy shifts just enough for you to sense that it matters. And right there, in that exact space, something inside you tightens, quietly, instinctively. It happens fast. You stay composed. You respond with clarity. You keep your center steady. From the outside, everything looks grounded, controlled, even strong. But underneath, there's a different movement, one that pulls inward, one that gathers everything back into a place only you can reach. You hold it there. The thoughts you don't fully share, the emotions you feel but choose to process alone. The questions that rise, then settle back into silence before they ever reach the surface. It becomes familiar, this way of containing your inner world, this way of keeping your depth protected. And over time, it becomes automatic. You start to notice how often you do it, how easily you shift from openness into observation, how naturally you step back into control the moment something feels meaningful enough to touch you. It's subtle, almost seamless, but it shapes everything. Because while you're holding your ground, something else is also happening. Moments pass. Openings soften. Connections that carried potential begin to settle into something quieter, less defined. Not because they lacked meaning, but because the space between you and them remained just wide enough. This is the shadow that moves beneath your strength, the need to understand before you feel, the instinct to stay composed when something asks you to soften, the quiet belief that holding everything together gives you power, when in truth, it also keeps certain doors only partially open. And yet, awareness changes the rhythm. The moment you see it, the pattern, the timing, the way it shows up, you begin to feel a shift. Not a forceful one, not something that demands immediate change, but a gentle release, a softening at the edges, a willingness to stay present just a little longer. Because within that space, something new becomes possible. A different kind of strength begins to emerge, one that moves with your depth instead of guarding it, one that allows connection to reach you, not all at once, but in ways that feel steady, grounded, real. And as that awareness settles in, another question begins to take shape. How do you move with this energy instead of holding it at a distance? It becomes clearer now. This current you've been sensing isn't something you chase, it's something you move with. And movement begins in small, almost unnoticeable ways. You start by looking at what's already here. The people who have shown up, the ones who offered a word, a moment, a presence that stayed with you longer than expected. When you let yourself truly see them, something shifts inside. You feel a quiet sense of grounding, like your path has never been as solitary as it once seemed. Gratitude deepens that awareness. Not as a routine, not as a habit you check off, but as a feeling you sit with. You recall a moment, a voice, a connection that carried meaning. And in that remembering, your energy softens, expands, becomes more receptive. It's subtle, yet powerful. Then something else begins to activate. There are moments when your intuition speaks, soft at first, almost like a whisper beneath your thoughts. A sense to reach out, to respond, to step forward in a way that feels aligned. When you follow it, even in the smallest ways, you feel the shift immediately, like stepping into a current that was already moving in your favor. Timing reveals itself through action, not rushed, not forced, but intentional. You feel when something is ready, and instead of waiting for certainty, you meet it halfway. That's where movement happens. That's where energy becomes real. And then, almost without trying, you become part of that current for someone else. A word you offer lands exactly where it's needed. A moment of presence creates space for someone to feel seen. You realize the same way someone carried something meaningful into your life. You now carry that for others. It flows through you, naturally, without effort. This is where everything connects. Receiving and giving begin to mirror each other. Awareness meets action. Energy moves in both directions, creating something that feels alive, continuous, expanding. You're no longer standing at the edge of opportunity, you're within it, moving with it. And as this rhythm settles into place, something deeper begins to open. A quiet realization that this isn't just about what enters your life, but about the choice you make in how you meet it. It feels quieter now, like everything has gently settled into place, not with answers, but with a deeper awareness of what's been moving through your life all along. There's a presence near you, not loud, not demanding, just there, in the spaces between your thoughts, in the moments where your attention softens, in the subtle pull that keeps returning without needing a reason. You can feel it more clearly now, not as something distant, but as something already within reach. And somewhere inside you understand, this was never about searching. It has always been about opening. Because the door you've been sensing, it isn't something that suddenly appears. It's something that has been slowly unlocking from within you. Every moment of awareness, every shift in how you receive, every time you chose to stay instead of pulling away, it all led here, to this exact point, where you can feel the presence on the other side, waiting in a way that feels calm, steady, almost patient. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't ask you to become anything else. It simply meets you at the edge of your readiness. And you get to choose how far you step. Scorpio, there's a quiet strength in that choice. Not the kind that pushes forward, but the kind that allows something meaningful to enter and take root. The kind that trusts what is felt, even when it unfolds slowly. Because connection, the kind that changes you, grows over time. It deepens in shared moments, in unspoken understanding, in the way two energies begin to move together without force. And as that happens, something within you transforms, not all at once, but in ways that stay, in ways that shape how you move forward from here. You may even feel it now, that soft shift, that gentle opening, that sense of something aligning just beneath the surface. And maybe that's all this moment asks of you, to feel it, to trust it, to take one small step closer. If you feel ready to welcome this connection into your life. 777. And if this message found you at the right time, you can stay connected here. Like, share, or subscribe if it resonates with your path. There may be someone else who needs this same reminder, someone who's standing at their own quiet threshold, just beginning to feel what you've already started to recognize. For now, just stay with this feeling, because something has already begun.